To have you back with us here on the South African Morning, the post-SONA edition of GNT. Good morning, I'm Gareth Edwards. Tumelo Motatwane down for us in Cape Town again, as she has been for the last few days. In the build-up to the speech has come and gone. There's a lot to talk about. Earlier, talking about education. That's one thing. Informal traders, Tums, another big point. Let's just remind viewers of how many informal traders. It's estimated over 2 million. It's a big part of our population.
Absolutely, Gareth, and the reason why we have to talk about informal traders is particularly for that number, and also just to see if the president did, of course, include their voice within his State of the Nation address. Of course, talking to me about this and reacting to it is Rosheda Muller from the South African Informal Traders Alliance. Rosheda, good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time this morning. Were you represented as the South African informal traders with, of course, the president's speech last night?
Yes, indeed. I think we were. We were very pleased with the President's acknowledgement of the sector and the role it plays within the economy of the country. In particular, when he spoke about one of the traders along the road who were picked up, arrested by the JMPD. And that is the order of the day. And President has said that the support will be in place for us. So we are definitely looking at that support. And it's now the time of implementation, which is very, very important. Even as early as last night, I started drafting the letter to the Minister of Small Business to ensure that we are now going to unpack what is support. We need to get the detail, the meat on that bone, because it's far too long that we have been ignored, as we believe, the biggest job creators in the country as the informal traders.
Right. You mentioned, the lady or the woman that was arrested. The president also making mention of her acknowledging that that was wrong of the SAPS to do because of those what he called complicated regulations, which do not speak to informal traders, because at that moment the woman needed the money to buy food to put on her table for herself and her family. Take us through those complicated regulations that you've encountered as informal traders in the past year or so.
Yes, most definitely. I think with the high rate of unemployment that South Africa has at the moment, I believe that government should be grateful for the fact that the informal traders are entrepreneurs that are creating their own businesses. But this red tape, the regulations are far too harsh. And we are busy with a Do No Harm global campaign where we are calling on all governments to not do the confiscations, the harassment, and our traders are suffering. And what are they doing? They're earning a living on the ground.
Yeah.
So yes, we are very, very concerned that these things are still happening, and that we do want the implementation of the Do No Harm demands.
Yeah. It's interesting you make mention of that, because again, red tape is another issue for informal traders, right? The president making mention that there will be a red tape team within the presidency looking into red tape and making sure that there's enough support. Are you optimistic about this particular team that's looking into this matter?
My dear, I've been in the informal sector for more than 30 years. So although I'm optimistic, I have to be a realist. And I have to ensure that SAHITA, as a national movement, is going to sit behind government to see that the red tape reduction is implemented, that they consult us with the issues that affect us, our challenges, and also how we can together grow the economy by, we as SAHITA have a program of saying 1 million jobs by 2023. And how is that possible? Within the country, there are excess of 5 million informal workers, whether they are home-based, backyard workers, street traders. We are so many. So if we empower 1 million, create the enabling environment for them, and each one grow to employ one person, we have 1 million new jobs. So we're calling on government to assist us in the execution of that as well.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, Rosheda Muller. Sounds like you're ready for partnership with government as the Informal Traders of South Africa. Rosheda Muller coming from SAITA. Telling us more, Gareth, about the representation of informal traders within the country, what they are doing, what they're putting on the table, equally wanting to probe further what that support from government exactly means beyond the State of the Nation address. We know the President spoke about alleviating red tape. It sounds like it's exciting, but they want to know targets, deadlines, implementation, and exactly how government will partner with them to ensure that they create more jobs.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest buzzwords last night was the red tape cutters, the red tape team as well. I imagine a little later, Tumza, before I say goodbye to you as well, more red tape I'm sure going to be cut when you speak to NYDA, National Youth Development Agency, around 7:20 this morning, because it's not just the informal traders have an effect on the economy, microeconomy, township economies, but we're going to talk about youth and youth unemployment, I'm sure, 7:20 this morning, aren't we? We'll come back to Tumelo Mototwane again a little bit later. I think I may have just lost that line to her, so that conversation